What's up, guys, and welcome to our second long-form discussion of Season 7 of The Clone Wars. This episode is A Distant Echo. Just to jump right into it, what did you think of this one? This was the first time you had seen it. You haven't watched the story reels or anything. Nope. So what were your thoughts?
Really liked it. I liked it better than the first episode, but I figured that would be the case.
Yeah, the first one is very much just like an action, here's the Bad Batch, look how cool they are.
Right.
This one got to slow down a little bit more and focus on character, which, again, I appreciated as well.
And we got Anakin using a lightsaber. So.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people were thrilled about that.
And Padme.
That was very cool. So that was kind of a concern of mine going into this season, because I was like, well, Padme's not in the Bad Batch arc, and she probably isn't in the Siege of Mandalore or Ahsoka's Walkabout. So it's like, it would be a bummer to have the final season of the Clone Wars and no Padme.
Yeah, and we briefly saw her in the trailer, and like everyone was freaking out because it was like, wait, does Anakin know she's pregnant? We still don't really know. They didn't bring it up.
I meant to do this because the trailer, I feel like she looked more pregnant. I feel like they maybe made her bump a little bit smaller.
She has her hand on it.
I know. She definitely is like, look at me, I'm pregnant. Like, maybe ask about it, Anakin. But in the trailer, just I felt like she looked even farther along, and then it made Anakin look even more obtuse.
Yeah.
But this is, yeah, she's still wearing her, like, Revenge of the Sith clothes, but she doesn't look like she was showing quite as much.
Yeah. But I really liked the inclusion of that scene, and just like everything Padme said was really good.
Yeah, it was. Like, this is a scene that was not in the reels. Again, it's like, I'm just thrilled that they're not sticking to the reels and only that, like I thought that they would. They are adding new stuff, and it's like, when the Bad Batch was originally conceived as an arc of episodes, I don't think they were like, and this will be in the final season. This is wrapping up the story. Mm-hmm. So now that they know that, it's like, okay, we need to add some closure for our characters, and this one scene does a lot to just straight up openly say, like, yeah, Rex knows about Anakin and Padme. So does Obi-Wan.
So does Obi-Wan.
Which, like, he kind of hints about that the entire series.
Yeah.
But this is like a blatant, I hope you at least said hello to her for me.
Yeah, so it sounds like Anakin has been having these, like, secret Skype calls, holo calls with Padme, and Rex has been covering for him. And this time, Obi-Wan shows up and is like, what's going on in there?
Yeah.
And they just had, like, a weird moment where they're like,
I mean, like, it's all, they come on, Rex, I think you probably know Obi-Wan knows, too. Just be like, you know. But Anakin's fixing my helmet.
Yeah.
But yeah, that scene was such a nice inclusion to get Padme in it, even if it's just for this one scene. Like, at least it's something. I hope it leads to more. Mm-hmm. Again, like, there were changes in the first episode that I was like, yeah, I hope this ripples out. And there weren't really any consequences from the changes in the first one. I thought that Rex hiding things from Anakin and then learning the Echo was alive, I thought maybe Anakin would react to that. But I think in that first episode, it was more about Anakin sees that Rex's personal feelings are kind of affecting him.
Right, and Padme has a great line where Anakin says, "Oh, I think Rex is letting his emotions get to him on this mission with Echo," and she's like, "I wonder where that came from."
Yeah, who does that sound like, Anakin? Yeah, that's a great line, and just I think that whole part, what Anakin's going through in this episode, ties in with the theme of the episode, which is the search for truth begins with belief, something like that. Mm-hmm. And Rex's driving force is, I think my friend is alive and I refuse to believe otherwise, and I'm going to do anything I can to get him back. That's what he believes in his search for truth. And then while Anakin is searching for the truth, I think Padme is like, you need to believe in your friend.
Yeah.
Instead of like thinking the worst of him, like, he always has your back, you need to have his now.
Yeah. And like the rest of the Bad Batch, they're kind of like halfway between this is probably a trap and halfway between, like, the other half is like, maybe he's right. We're just here to kick butt
It's-
and be
it's all
awesome.
We're here to kick butt, eat Nuna legs, and shoulder press gonk droids.
Oh man, that scene, we both like smiled and started giggling at the scene of him in the ship, just like one arm pressing a gonk droid and eating, what looked like a turkey leg, but
It's got to be a Nuna.
a Nuna leg.
Come on. Wrecker is just jacked. I mean, nothing but respect for that absolute unit.
He's got to get that bump.
I can respect that. But I wanted to go back to the theme just because I have been rewatching the reels right after we watched the episodes just to make sure I see, okay, what changed, what didn't. This one had a fortune cookie in the reel. The first episode did not. But this one was different. And it was like wars aren't won by the best tools. They're won by the best strategy, something like that, which is a much more just kind of vague. I don't know. It doesn't have as much to do with the characters. So I'm like, yeah, I really like all the stuff where they were like, let's take this arc and just make a couple of very efficient changes.
Yeah.
And make it about the characters.
Yeah. And I hadn't seen the real episode or REEL
Right.
episode. But I did watch one part that somebody brought up on Twitter that had the original draft, I guess, had like a joke where as they're getting into the ship, the Bad Batch has Padme painted on their ship like in a pinup like fashion, and they're like, yeah, that's Senator from Naboo, and Anakin's just like
Yeah. Well, that scene was used in place of their actual conversation, which I really like the nose art scene, but it does become a little redundant because it is just showing you that connection between Anakin and Padme, showing you that Rex probably knows. It's a little more subtle in that.
Yeah.
But he's like awkwardly coughing.
Yeah. I mean, it's 2020, guys. Like, the Bad Batch doesn't need to be what they already are and like have pin-up stuff everywhere and make jokes about sexy women.
They are already so over the top. Like it is a funny moment, but I think I've seen that throughout this episode, they are shifting away from the humor that they had. Like I think that I recall these reels being a lot more lighthearted, and we still get Wrecker pressing gonk droids and stuff, but I do remember them being just kind of like a fun time and not like this is part of us building to the final episodes of the series, and I think it's good to make that shift.
We get a little more comedy once they get to what's the planet?
Skako Minor.
Skako Minor, and they're like climbing up to see the tower and see where the entrance is, and Wrecker says something like, "I'm not afraid of heights. I just have trouble with gravity up here."
Yeah, and
that's valid. He's a big dude.
That's a good line. And honestly, I think Wrecker needed something to bring him down a little bit, like make him at least slightly more relatable instead of just like screaming all the time.
Yeah.
Although
and saying boom.
Yeah.
With explosions.
I admit I like Wrecker. But who's your favorite of the bunch? I can't remember if we did this last time. Who's your favorite of the Bad Batch?
I don't know yet. I feel like Smarty Pants is... I don't know their names.
No, I like that name. Hey, Smarty Pants, get that door open.
Yeah, I think, he's definitely the most helpful. The sniper dude is a little snarky.
Yeah, he seems to be like the worst one. I mean, yeah, he can snipe and all, but he's constantly just pushing buttons. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's not only can he hit a target from 10 clicks away, he can also hone in on your greatest weakness, your greatest insecurity, and make you sad.
Yeah. And I mean, Hunter, is that like the leader guy's name? Mm-hmm. Hunter's cool, but he doesn't have that much substance to him yet. I hope we get him to open up a little bit more. But yeah, Smarty Pants.
He has done
Glasses,
the most.
Man is my favorite.
Yeah,
What's
he's
his
the
name?
one. Tech. He's the one that like translates things and opens doors, and he's with Rex at the end of both episodes. Mm-hmm. So like he's there for all of those kind of emotional beats. But yeah, I think the rest of that episode pretty much follows the reel. There again are some changes here or there. There's a lot to do in the original reel with Skako Minor being like a neutral planet, and that is brought up by Wat Tambor. Like, they wouldn't dare attack us. We're neutral. But that's not really what they're dealing with now. I think that they were like, let's stick with the character stuff and not get into the whole, we're a corporation, so we're neutral, but not really politics of it all.
Well, I wouldn't say they got attacked when they landed, but there's another species there. Did you find out?
The Poltex.
The Poltex. And like they ride these huge bird reptilian things at,
I think they're called Veerdax.
Okay.
I think
I'm just going to keep making up names.
I think
things.
the third episode is like on the wings of Veerdax or something as they make their escape.
Okay. But yeah, it's like there's this huge language barrier, and so they're kind of like fighting, and they take Anakin because they recognize that he's in charge. And then Tech comes in and starts to translate, and they're like, oh, okay, well, we just don't want your war here. We'll help you with this one little thing. But then you've got to leave.
Yeah. I think that the whole neutrality of the planet thing might come in the third episode. I feel like that third episode, the fortune cookie is something about being neutral. And this is kind of like the lesson that Finn has to learn, that being neutral in the face of evil is like helping evil.
Yeah.
So that might come back next time, or they might change the fortune cookie again. But yeah, this is something that just happens a lot in Star Wars, where like you run into the less sophisticated race that is still helpful, like the Ewoks, or I think the Aeolians, or what they were in Star Wars Resistance, and the Lemurians in the Clone Wars season 1 or 2.
They're just minding their own business.
Yeah.
Just living their lives.
We just don't want part of the war, but I guess we'll help the good guys.
But yeah, but eventually you're going to have to.
Right. It does happen a lot. So they get to Wat Tambor's area, his facility.
And I immediately go, there's more Wat Tambors. Because, I mean, I know that's not the name of his race, but...
Well, I mean, it's Baby Yoda all over again.
Yeah.
That's not literally Yoda.
I was just like, I don't remember seeing more of him.
It's Blue Wat Tambor.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they break in. The rest of it's pretty much just like action, fighting, Wrecker screaming.
Mm-hmm. Again, the same as the first episode. A lot of great fighting scenes, except now we have Anakin with a lightsaber, which makes it even greater.
Yeah. So they get up to where Echo is supposedly being held, and there's like one last thing where Wat Tambor gets to be in Rex's face and say like, your friend is dead. And Rex still is like refusing to believe that. And they do find him in the next room, and he's not quite dead, but he's not in the best shape either.
That was surprising to me. It was pretty grim.
That's exactly the word I used in my review. Like,
oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, grim is a great way to put it.
Yeah, he's like kind of in this cryo freeze chamber thing, and he's like half droid now, and he's got all these tubes in him. It was weird.
Yeah, so he is not actively trying to help the Separatists. Oh, that's another change they made in that like confrontation between Rex and Crosshair. In the final version, he says like, I'd be mad too if you left me for dead, or maybe like I'd feel guilty too if I left a man for dead. In the original version, I think he says something like, I might want to help the Separatists too if my brothers betrayed me like that. And so they shifted that. But yeah, Rex pulls him down, and
to bring in yet another Battlestar reference, the way he was like all hooked in reminded me of the base star Cylon.
Yep. I remember what you're talking about, and I can't remember what they're called. That's annoying. The hybrid. Yeah. Where they're like half human Cylon, half machine.
They're in a bathtub, and they got all the plugs and stuff in them. They're just like spouting out nonsense, and he was kind of like hooked up like a computer, I guess.
Yeah.
And
I
they
mean,
were-
I think they were just reading his brain for the algorithm or what plans they would want. Which, yeah, like the reel again was, I mean, it's jarring, but then to see it finalized, it's even worse because just like that dead look on his face and his eyes darting all around, it was like, this is unsettling.
I thought he was dead at first. I was like, oh no. But yeah, hopefully he has a swift recovery.
I won't get into the future of Echo, but we'll find out next week on the Clone Wars. So yeah, good episode. And I'm still just happy that they're making changes so that someone like me can still be excited and not just be like, okay, well, I'm watching a story I've seen before. Like now I'm excited to see, what are they going to change next week?
Yeah. And someone like me can just be entertained in the first place, and then I can go back and watch the old real episodes if I want to.
That's like most people. I think even most Star Wars fans are blissfully ignorant of the reels. Like they're just gonna watch this for the first time with fresh eyes. And it's something I'm trying to do is be like, all right, how do I talk about this as if I'm just now seeing it? It's just hard because like I've talked about these episodes many times before on the channel.
Can't do it.
Yeah. So yeah. Do you have anything else to say?
I don't think so. I'm trying to remember if there was anything else that stood out in the episode. I hope we get more Obi-Wan. I liked his sassiness.
Yeah.
As usual.
It is like they're almost easing us back into the Clone Wars, where in the first episode, Anakin was in it a little bit, but it was mostly Rex. And then in this episode, it's like, okay, Obi-Wan's in it a little bit, but it's mostly Rex and Anakin. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure Obi-Wan is in the next episode a lot more. He definitely plays a bigger part in the rest of the arc.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good. I guess I wanted to say that it's nice to just let Rex have kind of a big arc all for himself, because it is he's been a character that's been important to this story since the movie. He's always been around, and I think the last two arcs are going to be very Ahsoka centric, but this one we get to spend a lot of time with Rex, and he'll be in the final arc as well. But it's like, let's just give Rex a nice long arc where he gets to deal with some personal stuff.
Yeah. Let it out.
Let it all out, man. Go save your brother.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it for today. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel,
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
and consider checking out our Patreon page where we are doing audio commentaries for all of these new episodes. The first episode is already out, and our second episode, this one, will be out soon, and you can just get that on our Patreon page. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and may the Force be with you.